All right. I'll just start with, I'll let you guys ask questions. Yep.
Coach, I know there's obviously some disrespect leading into the game, but even after 48-14, there's some perception out there that North Carolina lost this game.
Yeah.
Didn't win it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, kind of like we talked a little bit after the game. I mean, to me, there was, there was just a lot of conversation about this, and I understand that. I mean, it's a big deal, when you've got the winningest, or I guess the second winningest NFL coach ever, and won the most Super Bowls and all the stuff, coming to college football, and so that's going to lead to a lot of conversation and a lot of interest in the game. And so I think for us, it was just about, us trying to avoid those distractions the best that we could. And I felt like we had a better plan on how to deal with that, than we had in 23 when we played, Deion's team. So, I was proud of our mentality for that. And I think kind of the same thing with our players. I mean, we talked a little bit about the importance today about moving on and just making it about us. It's the same old thing. I mean, I think, I think our program, you look at us in 22 and we, first year staff, it was a 5-win program. We start 12-0. We won 13 games. We beat Michigan, only game that they lost in 2 years, and played for a national championship. And it seems like everybody's since then has been, but about TCU football. And I think it's a little bit of the same thing with this. But I think that's just kind of the way it is. I mean, I think that, blue bloods are blue bloods for a reason. And, and we'd like to get to the point where people take our program seriously. And I think really the only way to do that is to continue to win. And I think that probably we have to win more than other people have to win to catch the attention of people, I think. And that's just the way it is.
How impressed were you that your team was able to avoid all these distractions and go in and just take care of business every day?
Yeah, I felt good about this team, because we were mature. That's the one thing I thought we talked a lot about, before the season started, was just kind of the unique makeup of this group. Just the fact that they are a mature team and they have been able to focus on stuff that's important and what matters and not get caught up and sidetracked. And so it's going to be important for us to do that moving forward. You know what I mean? That's you just got to move on, put it behind us. And our guys had a great practice today. We got back late. I think we were like 4:15 in the morning, Tuesday morning. And so, I was a little worried about what we'd be like today, getting up early and practicing. Our guys had a really, really good practice, really attentive, really focused. Did not hear one player talking about the game or any of the sideshow that accompanied the game or any of that stuff. And so I was proud of the guys for, moving on and understanding that, it's over and done with. And now we got to focus on having a good practice today, a good physical, tough practice tomorrow, and then, good practices over the weekend. And so it's going to be important for us to continue to build and get better.
This where you try to start kind of get into now season mode now that you'll be back on the regular Saturdays.
Yeah, we're going to try to get into our normal schedule. It's been weird, the fall camp schedule is always weird. You don't know what day of the week it is, and then we were trying to, get ready for a Monday game. That was unusual. Having to wait around, I think, was hard for us a little bit. Just, our guys were excited and ready to play, and but we needed every day. I mean, I felt like a day of preparation was important for us, and our guys practiced well, and so I felt like, we'd play well, but. Yeah, I'm excited to kind of get on a normal schedule and kind of get back to it. So we'll try to normalize this the best we can. We won't practice on Saturday, but we'll have a practice on Sunday and then get a little bit of a head start on Abilene Christian and take Monday off like we always do, and then try to get into normal game week and get settled.
When you look at the film now, I mean, obviously we see what the score and we saw that. When you looked at the film, what did you like and what was it?
Yeah, I thought we played hard. I thought we played physical. We made a ton of mistakes. I mean, just a lot of stuff that you look at it and you go, this could have been bad. It wasn't in some cases, but it could have been. I thought we did a good job of adjusting to what we were seeing during the game. I thought especially defensively when we came out and, we were on our heels a little bit and went over the sideline and got that fixed pretty quickly. And once we did that, I think we felt like we were, in pretty good shape from then on from a scheme standpoint. But the thing I liked was just the guys, the mentality we had. We played physical the whole game. When we put our young players in the game and some guys maybe that don't play that many snaps, I thought those guys played hard and tried to play physical. I was really encouraged by that. Just the toughness that the guys played with and the determination, I think, was the biggest thing. But there's a ton of errors. I mean, there's a million things on all three sides of the ball. I mean, missed opportunities on offense, certainly some missed opportunities defensively, and a bunch of stuff on special teams that we got to get cleaned up.
You mentioned right after the game that every drive was kind of like making a new adjustment on the sideline and trying to figure out what they were going to do next.
Right.
Can you speak to the work that Kendall and Andy?
Yeah. Going in, it's hard to know exactly what you're going to see. And again, they did a good job of scheming us, their offense and putting a sixth offensive lineman in there and getting into some personnel stuff and creating some broad blocking surfaces that were tough to fit, and stuff that we hadn't really looked at. But again, you got to credit Andy for getting those guys on the sideline, getting it fixed. And when they tried to jump into it again, we had the answers for it. And so, they kind of moved on to something else, and that really helped us. And, just being able to having a veteran group of players that can adapt and can adjust. And we knew we were going to have to, and I think our guys were prepared and ready to do that.
Did you guys come out pretty?
Yeah, very healthy. Yeah, really, really healthy. I think Ben Whitfield's got a little bit of a sprained ankle, and besides that, I think everybody's good. And he practiced today, so yeah, there was no injuries, not very banged up, nothing.
Coach, you mentioned how weird the schedule's been. How weird is it to finally play that first game and then go straight into a bye week?
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, it's strange. The schedule was when we wanted to move this game to Monday. We wanted to make sure that that our players would have a chance to get back here and get settled before jumping in and playing next week. And so we had to move the Abilene Christian game a little bit later in order to make this thing work on Monday, and we did that, and appreciate their willingness to do that. But yeah, it's been the schedule's been weird, and we were talking about this earlier. I mean, our schedule's been weird. I think the 4 years that I've been here, we've opened on the road against a Power 4 team 3 of the 4 years, and won all 3 games, which I don't know that anybody else in college football has done that. Open on the road 3 of the 4 years against a Power 4 team. And our players have handled it well. We've been able to win those games, and the one we lost obviously was the one here in 23. But but we've had some unique kind of scheduling things. Again, this year our schedules were one of 2 teams. I believe Baylor's the other one that's playing 11 Power 4 teams this season. And so, our schedule's been pretty challenging. And again, you got to credit our players for going on the road and playing well.
You mentioned the scheduling. SEC obviously announced that they're moving to 9 games in the future. Is that good for?
Yeah. I think you need to have consistency in scheduling. I mean, it's the same thing. What makes the NFL great is that everybody kind of deals with the same things when it comes to scheduling, and there's some parity and some fairness when it comes to scheduling. And right now, some leagues are playing 8 conference games and playing nobody competitive out of conference games and have a pretty clear path to get in the college football playoff. And certainly makes it easier when you draw a good schedule where, our league, we've had to play 9 games. We've done that for a while. And then, like I said, we're playing, 2 Power 4 opponents to get to 11 games. So, our deal is challenging. You look at some of the blue blood college football programs. I mean, they're not playing road non-conference games ever. I mean, what I'm saying? I mean, like ever. And so, I think for us, we've got to try to always put our program in the best position that we can to have a chance to hopefully, compete for a championship and get ourselves in the playoff. And I think ultimately that's the goal. Now a million miles from that, and we're certainly not thinking about it or talking about it. But those are the kind of things that we've got to do a good job of as a program, is just positioning ourselves and giving ourselves the best opportunity we can.
As for scheduling, and I'm going to preface this and say I'm not asking specifically about
Yeah.
the SMU game, but you look at Baylor's playing SMU this week, and then you guys are playing them. It's the last time as we know in a while. When you see these like old Southwest Conference rivalry games, a non-conference one,
Yeah.
what does it do to you when you see those kind of going away? Because if you look on the schedules, there's not really any of them.
Yeah. I think if you look at our scheduling, we're trying to play, teams that make sense. The issue with us is we were scheduled out when it comes to, non-conference games. And so, we don't have a lot of flexibility in our schedule. And the fact that we play 9 conference games and other teams don't, there's not much flexibility. And so, as I said earlier, it's all about, trying to do the right things. You get judged on whether or not you're going to go to the playoff, then you got to do everything you can to give your team the best opportunity to do that.
It's a guy that grew up around that Southwest Conference football. Is there a little bit of you that kind of you hate to kind of see those?
Yeah. I'd love for it to be the old Southwest Conference right now. You know what I'm saying? A&M and Texas, broke this deal up a long time ago. You know what I mean? And so when they, moved on and Oklahoma. And so anyway, it's, the stuff started to fall apart and guys moved on, and the old Big 12 I thought made a lot of sense. And I think it'd be a pretty dang good conference right now. But things have moved on, and college sports has changed, and like I said, I from a guy that's grew up in Texas, I'd love to have the old Big 12, back. I think it makes a lot of sense, but it's just not the reality of it.
Do you think there are some things that the Big 12 could do scheduling wise, maybe protect some of those games? Not playing Texas Tech this year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard when you have 16 teams, man. It's hard. You know what I mean? And it's hard to have. There's going to be some years you catch a good year, and a team may not have to play 3 or 4 of the best teams in the league. You know what I mean? And so obviously that can make a difference. Who you play has a lot to do with whether or not you win or lose in some cases. And so, it's hard when you have 16 teams. I loved it when there was 9 teams and you played everybody. And to me, you had a true conference champion, and that always made the most sense to me, where everybody played everybody, and then there was one team standing at the end, and that was your champion, and you kind of went on from there. But it's just not the reality now. The conferences are big, and it's like I said, sometimes some teams are going to catch a good year and a good run, and that's just the way it is.
You mentioned how difficult, obviously, this is. The players had to wait till Monday night. How much football, if any, did you watch, and did you have any early impressions on it?
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of football on Saturday, a little bit on Friday night. I went to watch my girls cheer Friday night and got to do that, which was awesome. And I don't know how many times I'm going to get a chance to see them, and they both cheer, and so that was great. So I got to do that Friday. Got to go to a high school game, which was pretty cool. I'll go to another one this Friday. I go to 2 games Friday from a recruiting standpoint this week. And then that's always fun. And then watch a lot of football on Saturday. You know what I mean? I think that we'll have a chance to kind of get ahead of a game plan a little bit with Abilene Christian, just with the way the schedule is. I was able to watch a little bit of their stuff, on the airplane flying home from the game, Monday night. So you could get ahead, which was nice, and having those extra days to prepare is always really important.
You were talking in spring camp and fall camp that you felt like the run game was going to be better.
Yeah.
Obviously, it showed Monday night. When did you kind of tell that you were going to be successful in football?
Yeah, like you said, I think it's been such a point of emphasis for us. Going back and looking, and there were times, you get in the middle of a season and you get through the season, you look back and, you're just kind of like, whoa, man, we just didn't run the ball well. You know what I mean? And we were able to still be pretty competitive. But for us to be the kind of team that we want to be, we got to be able to run the football, and we got to be a physical football team. That's the bottom line. I don't care if it's, the games are played on Sunday or on Friday or on Saturday, whenever and what I mean by that, NFL, college, high school, junior high, whoever runs the ball the most or the best, whichever team's most physical normally wins. And so, we had to get back to that, and we spent a lot of time looking at how can we improve in this area from a personnel standpoint, how can we improve in this area from a scheme standpoint, and how can we do it from a mentality standpoint and a practice standpoint. And it's like anything else, whatever you emphasize is kind of what you get. And so that was a huge point of emphasis for us. Spring football, fall camp, every meeting, every time we talk to our players, we talk to them about that, about being physical and winning the line of scrimmage. And so, it was good to see that plan, play out on Monday night. It'll be challenging for us moving forward, to continue to build on that and to get better. But I felt like we addressed some personnel things in terms of our mentality and physicality, just bigger bodies, downhill runners, finishing blocks up front, just attention to detail and emphasis, I think helped us. And I think when you do that offensively, then it's going to affect your defense as well. And obviously we needed to be able to stop the run defensively. And same thing with those guys. I mean, it was every single day we were trying to figure out how to get better at stopping the run. And again, every meeting was talking about how can we stop the run? What can we do to get better stopping the run? And so, thought we did a good job of that. I think we outrushed them by over 200 yards or something. And so it was a good start that way.
It's going to be the most important factor, keeping the running game going as it's going.
Well, just, continuing to be physical, mentality-wise, physical practices. I talk to our guys, we're going to have to get after it tomorrow and be incredibly physical and it's an opportunity to build on that mentality. And that was the thing we talked about a lot today was, we know kind of the secret for us. We know the formula, and we have to jump in, you know what I'm saying, and buy into it. And we can't say, oh, we did it, and now this is who we are. We got to do it week after week after week, and the only way you can do it is by practicing that way, and again, continuing to have that mentality.
Brandon Glover and Paul while I missed all of last year, and both came back and made contributions in week one. Just how good.
Yeah, great to see those guys come back. I mean, they both had long journeys back from their injuries, and so it's great to see them play and to play well. And and I think they'll continue to get better. There was some moments where they were both a little bit rusty, but I think they both showed a lot of promise, and they're both really good players, talented guys. They worked incredibly hard to give themselves an opportunity to come back and to play in that game, and was really happy for them to see him have success.
Coach, I want to ask about personnel because we've talked about the transfer portal in the past, and fans want their schools to go after these big school players transferring from the blood programs, but you guys have used the model of going after guys that have played a lot of football and have showed on Monday.
Yeah.
Dorian and Jordan obviously having big games. How important is it for you guys to keep that model?
Yeah. Look, we want guys that have had success and are hungry. You know what I mean? I think that's the, I think if you look at the transfers that we've had that have been successful, that's been the guys that maybe played at a lower level and are hungry, competitive, want to prove themselves, have a chip on their shoulder, as opposed to maybe a heavily recruited 5-star player that went someplace and couldn't figure it out. And so we just feel like that fits our culture better. I think that's more in tune with our program and our values, and kind of, we want guys that, that stay healthy and compete and fight and scratch and play with a chip on their shoulder.
Coach, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Questions?
JJ, just going back to Monday night, how good of a feeling was it to get in there and win the way you guys did?
The feeling was good. It was actually great just coming there and execute how we playing. We was going to execute. We played hard, flying to the ball. Stuff like that, you got no choice but to feel great.
Do you feel like people maybe they were missing something? Because, there was a lot, I think we talked to Coach about it, a lot of disrespect going in, But even coming out after what you guys did, people are still talking about North Carolina, not talking about you guys.
I mean, yeah, we just gotta continue showing like we just gotta continue playing with that chip on our shoulder. We can't feed into the media. Like they gonna talk about what they talk about, and we just gonna prove it week by week by week
What do you think you guys learned about yourselves in that game?
that we're a physical football team, and if we execute how we know we can, we're gonna be a great defense.
How fun is it to play in a game like that where you guys are dominating so bad on that side of the ball?
It's great just knowing that you dominating the line of scrimmage, the back end. It's a great feeling knowing that all the hard work you put in and it's showing. It's unmatched. It's just great.
It didn't start the way you guys wanted though, because of that first touchdown drive. How did you guys regroup from that and then, put on the performance you did?
We just know when we got to the sideline, like we wasn't phased. We just know we had to lock in, watch the film on the iPads and see like we got to count the little things. So when we went back out there, we had a mindset like it's not gonna happen again, and we just locked in, executed, and did our assignment.
I don't know if you think about it as a player, as you're playing the game, but those of us that are watching, we're thinking, man, it's been a while since they've completed a pass. Do you ever think, did you know that they had gone almost 2 hours without completing a pass?
Nah, I ain't see that till after the game, but that's how it should be though. They're going against a great back end, so and we put the work in, and that's when you do that and come out there and execute. That's what's gonna show.
I know fall camp, it kind of spreads out for a while, and then you guys had a Monday night opener, now you have an off week. What's it like for you guys as players to kind of get into a rhythm now and maybe have that opportunity? But I know, after all this, the way it's gone.
We just gotta Monday night game's over with. We just gotta put that in the past. Going into this bye week, we just got to sustain our focus and just get better at the little things and keep competing and keep growing as a defense.
2 guys returned on defense for y'all that missed last season, Vernon and Paul. How good was it to have those guys back out there?
Great. It's been a long journey for them, and for them just to be out there playing again, it just bring joy to the team in general because they both great players. So just have them out there executing, doing their assignment, and making plays, it just feel great.
I think we all know, just watching Bud, he does such a great job of baiting quarterbacks. Did y'all know that he was going to be able to do something like that Monday night?
Yeah, like last week, I told him, I said like, no matter what, you gonna end the season with at least 3 picks. Then before the game, I told him, I said, just be you. The ball gonna find you. And literally, the ball found him.
Last year, one of the bigger storylines about this defense was kind of some of the challenges about stopping the run. Can you just talk about the front 7 and their work on Monday night and how good it was to see that?
I feel like they said a statement like it's not gonna be like that this year. For them to dominate the front, it make it easy on the back end. So them by doing that and they prepare for it. Like they heard all their talk in the offseason how we couldn't stop the run, and they put their mind to it like it's not gonna be like that this year. So for them to do that and show, it means a lot to the team.
Anything else? Good, thank you.
Thank you. Ryan, there's a saying that goes, when you know you're running the football and the team you're playing against knows you're running the football, but you can still do it. It shows how dominating you are. How good of a feeling was it just knowing you guys were able to run the football the way y'all did?
Yeah, I think it's a testament to our physicality throughout the whole game, and then we get into that first play of the third quarter. Kavorian busts a 75-yard touchdown, and then that kind of let them know, hey, we're going to be able to run the ball and keep control of this game.
How do you guys keep the run game going how do you keep the run game going in the season going forward and make it not just a 1 week, successful performance?
I think it's about just being prepared and anticipating what the defense is going to do, along with just being more physical than their front 7. And I think both of those things combined will allow us to maintain that style of run game going forward.
Aside from just the dominance in the run game, Josh Hoover's uniform was clean after that game. Do you take more pride in the run game or keeping him protected?
I definitely take pride in both of those things. Being able to run the ball and letting up 0 sacks throughout that game as a whole offensive line, 0 sacks is definitely good.
And that first touchdown, they sent a linebacker blitz. Kavorian, you talked about his long run, but he picked up that blitz flawlessly as well. We let Josh get that throw off. You just talked about the support your your running backs, your tight ends, and even the wide receivers, and all the blocking that happens on offense.
Yeah, I mean, we practice it almost every Tuesday and Wednesday. We're doing like blocking circuits for the outside guys and the running backs, and we usually have a couple periods in practice where we're working with the running backs on blitz pickup and just making sure everyone's on the same page. And then you see it on Monday night, it works, and then JD can go out and make some plays.
We asked Coach about this, and you guys have had a huge emphasis on improving the run game from last year. Was there a moment, maybe in spring or fall camp, where you knew that, man, I think we're going to be pretty good running the football?
I wouldn't say one specific moment. I would just say stacking the days, like throughout spring ball, throughout fall camp, and just being able to show that we can do it, and then be able to go out there Monday night. And hey, all that work we've done for the past 6 months has come to fruition.
So it's your second collegiate start, your first start at left tackle. What do you got to improve on, and how do you feel like you played?
I would say it was a good start. Always stuff to improve on. I would say run blocking, at least to the left side, would be a big thing to improve on. Just my technique going forward, and then just making sure my hands are strong in pass pro.
I think that touchdown Trent scored, y'all scored probably about 15 times in fall camp. That play looks really successful. Did you know something good was going to happen when y'all called that play?
Yeah, that's probably my favorite run play in the playbook. And me and DJ are on the front side blocking down. Cade Bennett pulls around, kicks out the guy in the C gap, and then Trent is able to crease it for a 30-yard touchdown. So that's all probably one of my favorite plays. Yeah.
You mentioned Cade. He missed all of last year, but is a really veteran guy. What's it like having someone with that much experience playing right next to you?
It's just allowing. I mean, he's I think the oldest guy on the offensive line. It brings just a veteran presence and kind of a calming effect to, like, hey, I've been here before. We know what we're doing, and then that kind of translates to everyone else on the O line, especially me being on my side.
Being a veteran on this offensive line, Coach Derry made the move back to center, which it looked like it's paying off right now. How much has that helped you guys up front?
I would say it's a good change. I mean, I love Deary, so we're gonna keep doing what we do and go out there and just keep getting better each day.
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks.